So you guys remember that video when we talk about consistency, and then we have a little bit of heat up discussion where some people do not agree on the way I practice. They just say like I practice too hard, and for some people it will burn them out of the passion and stuff like that. So let me tell you about the exact 3 practice that you can apply to yourself if you're not hardcore enough to do what I do. So this is like the easy level of practice that you can do. Yeah, let's give you a choice because some of you do not agree on my way of practice. So let's just give you guys a choice of how to practice. So how to practice to improve skills in a smart way. First and foremost, there's like 3 different type of practice when it comes to art. It is actually applied to everything that you do for in your life, music, dancing, anything. It applies on everything. So here's the 3 types of practice that you can practically do in your day-to-day basis. First is innate practice. What is innate practice? Well, innate practice is like a practice that may not be inherent, or it's a coincidental practice. So it's more of a sitting in your comfort zone, just do your stuff over and over again over a long period of time. So yeah, just do it like repetitively. So if you do stuff repetitively, inevitably, it will improve your skill over time. No matter how much time it takes, it's going to improve. If you do it like every single day, just over and over again repetitively, right? Inevitably it will improve your art no matter what. So this is just means that you do what you always do, draw as you always does. Not much to say here because it's just as simple as that. Just do whatever you do every single day. Just draw whatever you draw every single day. And at some point you will improve. It will take a lot longer, in my opinion, if you want to practice this type of practice. If you want to apply in your art career, it's going to take a lot longer for you to get better. Because the thing is, if you do the same shit over and over again, it's rather hard for you to figure out what's wrong and what's right, like what's work and what does not work. So it will take quite a hot minute to actually improve in this kind of style, a practice style. So yeah, it is a no rushing kind of situation, no experiment, just do it casually over time. And like I said before, it takes more time to see real improvement. And instead of exponential growth, we've talked about it like last few videos. Instead of exponential growth, it promises more subtle and consistent growth instead. So yeah, it is also applied on this kind of innate practice is applied on everything, like I mentioned before. Like all this practice apply on every single thing that you do in your day-to-day basis. Might seems mundane and there's no room on improvement yet. Like you don't really see the room of improvement because, like we mentioned before, it's so hard to see real improvement because you're just sitting in your comfort zone and you just do things repetitively for a long period of time, right? So it takes a lot while for you to improve. And yeah, it might seem mundane in a way, but if you do not stop for 5 to 10 years, you're gonna see improvement no matter what. Like, you only will not see improvement if you stop. Like, it's the same as like success. You only fail if you stop doing it, right? So yeah, if you're really into innate practice and you don't really want to experiment and all that kind of shit, you can be at your pace, do some innate practice and stuff. It's fine. Just expect less when it comes to like growth, because definitely you will not get exponential growth by that sense. Let me just clarify, like innate practice does not necessarily have to be an actual practice schedule. You don't have to have that, because even if you just do something that revolves in whatever you're doing, you're actually practicing it innately. You can work on a project, commissions, or whatever really that remotely makes you draw. It is an innate practice. So yeah, it is less about intensity and more about the volume of the stuff that you're doing. Do more and again and again and again, That's like innate practice. And the second type of practice is inspired practice. It is the most the most fun kind of practice in a way. I mean, a lot of artists say it so. It feels more impactful and with like burning passion kind of practice, it fuels your soul. This kind of practice fuel your passion, because basically you practice by looking at like references that or someone that you look up to that inspired you to be better at drawing, as in general. It's like a rapid burst of practice through observations and enthusiasm. But the downside of it burns quicker. Maybe easy in terms of like inspiration and motivations, but it is very hard to maintain. And it is exhausting because you essentially go out of your comfort zone. And essentially what it does is you try to practice things, experiment things that you haven't done before, but you really like because it's inspire you in a way. And then you try to do that, but then you don't really know the steps, how to do, hows and why and whatnot. It can be really exhausting. It can burn you down a lot quicker than innate practice. Because the idea of this practice is more of a rapid burst, is more of a shooting for exponential growth rather than just subtle and consistent growth. So now you know what inspired practice is like. Now we want to talk about how to do it. It is basically just having something to look at, like get the inspiration items, get the book, get the game or people's artwork or anything really. And on whatever things you do, just keep a note by your side, like close to you. For example, like if you're watching movies or something like that, make sure you have a note beside you. And then when you saw some cinematics that you think is really fucking cool or something like that, just write it down, like write the timestamp or something like that. Or like we live in a very cutting edge technology in 2020, right? You can just screenshot your shit either way on your phone, on your PC or whatnot. I doubt a lot of people, at least my age, still watch like movies on TVs. So they probably will watch movies on their PCs or at least on the movie theaters or whatnot. If you go to movie theaters, just have your notepad on your phones and probably write down timestamp. I don't know how you want to do it, but basically that's how you do it. Just for example, the best example is the best example I can give you is whenever I play games, and mostly a story driven game, because they have like this cool cinematic shot and whatnot. Whenever some cool cinematic shots or cool characters comes on the screen, I just pause the game a little bit and then screenshot, and then after I play the game, I continue the game, and then after I play the game, I look back at my screenshot and stuff and just consume all those inspirations later on when you're actually working on a practice. And remember when I said that the practice is less of having a real practice schedule? This one you gotta have a practice schedule. Like legitimately you have a timestamp on like when you have to do it, and you have to keep yourself doing it like every single day. You gotta have like because it's not something that you do innately. It's not something that you can practice while do something else. Because essentially, if you experimenting, you don't want to experiment on your commission and whatnot, right? So it is something that you have to have a specific schedule on doing it. So yeah, keep that in mind. And yeah, the other things about inspiration-based practice is it's affect more of your surrounding and emotions. So you gotta have a clean and productive workspace. That is exactly, if you watch my stream, I sometimes use webcam. If you can see, like I have all my art hanging on my wall. It is exactly to serve the purpose of giving me that studio-like vibe. Like constantly reminds me of what I'm doing for a living, so I can be inspired every day to work towards it. So there is also one of the inspired kind of practice fall towards. Other thing you can do is just usual stuff, go to museums and stuff like that. Look for some inspirations. Take a walk. You can do that too, like take photograph or something like that. Do whatever that remotely inspire you in a way. And last but not least, the third practice type that you can do is called developmental practice. So what is developmental practice? It is most easy to assign tasks to do exercise in my opinion. It's like intentionally acquired skills and developmental progress. So it's more of a type of practice that if you choose to improve, you do this. So and it is not fun at all. This is the least fun out of all practice stuff. This is the least fun because you essentially have to learn like technical aspects of the practice, which is very important. I think a lot of artists would agree it's not fun at all because you can't exactly draw what you want. You just have to go with the fundamental stuff. But it is very important to actually do this practice as an artist, because essentially you want to be as good because you know the fundamentals, not just do what you like and then the fundamentals is all over the places and shit. So yeah, it is quite constructive, but have the same aspect of rapid burst development like inspired practice does, but without inspirations, really. So yeah, it's much more mechanical. For example, having one picture, you just repeatedly draw one picture and progressively, and then so that you can lessen your time taken to draw that picture. You know, do the same stuff over and over again, but basically exactly the same shit. Exactly the same drawing. This is why it is the least fun, but it is more of a regimental training, which it can improve your understanding on fundamental stuff a lot quicker. It's an idea of like being aware of the structure and technical aspects, live drawing application, and what you see in your 3D space to 2D space. Live drawing, for example, you have a model in front of you, or maybe you go outside and draw landscape and whatnot. Things, you know, whatever object, whatever in front of you, your computer, whatever, just literally whatever. Translate a 3D space or 3D object to 2D. It's basically it. It takes practice in a very mechanical way. Tutorial, marathon, draw along in a session, ensure it's a narrow team and whatnot. This is all the type of stuff that you can use to actually apply this kind of practice. And the most important steps that you have to take, in my opinion, as every artist does, is the construction exercise. So what is this construction exercise? The construction exercise is more of you take a complicated images and turn it into a simplified geometry. Like, for example, you have a picture of a figure, of a model or something like that, and then you take that pictures as your reference, and then you deconstruct it and draw all the basic shape of that exact figure with the basic geometry like cylinders, sphere, circle, square, whatever, like basic geometry, and then translate that complicated image to that kind of geometric shape and stuff. And it is essentially, if you can learn how to deconstruct something, you can construct something. It's the same as technology. If anyone comes up with some software or application, for example, to learn how that software works, you have to like reverse engineer them to its bare bone, right? So you can learn about how it works and shit, and then you can construct them yourself after that, oftentimes better, because you know how it works, and then you know what's not works with that because you do this deconstruct in a way. So yeah, next is other than this construction is constructions practice. Means like get something simple like biped sketches or those wooden dolls, and then silhouette drawings and whatnot, and then give them details. That's like constructions practice. So after you deconstruct something, you construct something. That's just how it works. And yeah, everything is just based on your flaws, and don't avoid scary things. For example, feet, and I have a lot of trouble drawing feet before, including hands, but I'm pretty decent at drawing hands now. So that's like 3 practice type that can ensure you to get better at certain area, but I have one more secret spicy practice type, right? So the fourth one, I only say it's only have we only like 3, but there's like another one. So if you really want to be absolute god at drawing and absolute professional at it, you have to use the fourth one instead of the other 3 one. So the fourth one is like do all of them, and that's it. That's it. If you do all of them for a certain period of time, you will be better. That's just how it works. Okay, there's no shortcuts. Yeah, that you can take. It's always hard work. If you want shortcuts, you gotta do more work. If you want to chill, just do less work repetitively. So yeah, that's about it. If you find this video helpful, please toss a like and comment down below if you have anything I want to talk about. And we stream also occasionally over the weeks. If you wanna join us, the links is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys again in the next video. Bye bye.